Okay, let's get into this. You know that feeling, right? Scrolling through Instagram or TikTok, and it's just endless inspiration. Quote, graphics, gurus, life hacks.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere, this constant push.
Exactly, all this motivational content, the perfect morning routines, how to manifest your dreams, become the best version of yourself. It's relentless.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me thinking, could this whole thing be like a modern form of ritual? Almost religious in a way.
That's a really interesting way to put it. Ritual.
Yeah.
Because the scale of it is massive, isn't it? It's not some niche thing anymore.
Not at all. It's woven into daily life for so many. So for you listening, someone probably navigating this exact stuff, we wanted to maybe explore a different angle today. Something, surprising, hopefully without adding to the noise.
And that idea of ritual, it does seem to fit in some pretty unexpected ways when you look closer.
Totally. Like, think about how people actually consume it. You wake up, maybe the first thing you see isn't news, it's affirmations on your phone feed.
Right. Or a podcast on your commute telling you how to, 10x your productivity.
Yeah. Or scrolling self-improvement tips before bed. It feels almost liturgical, like a daily cycle of digital guidance.
And the interaction part is key, too. That idea you mentioned earlier about scrolling and liking being like a modern confession and absolution, it hits home.
It does, right. We post these, carefully selected bits of our lives, our goals, maybe even our struggles.
Mm-hmm. The curated vulnerability.
Yeah, and then the likes, the comments, you got this, keep going.
Yeah.
It feels like validation, like a little digital pat on the back, absolving us for not being perfect yet.
It's a fascinating comparison.
You think about someone like, let's call her Sarah.
Yeah.
She might spend, say, 3 hours a day on this stuff.
Yeah.
YouTube for routines, podcasts on wealth mindset, Pinterest for optimizing her life.
That's a lot of input.
It is. And on the surface, you'd think, wow, she's really committed to growth. But the weird thing is, she often says she feels more anxious afterwards, more inadequate.
Ah, yes. The paradox.
Exactly. All that positivity, and the result is anxiety. What's going on there?
Well, if you think about it from a sort of deeper psychological perspective, maybe like Freud might have looked at it, her constant engagement might not actually be about growth in the way she thinks.
Okay, so what else could it be?
It could be perhaps masking something else, a search for reassurance maybe, a way to manage a deeper unease, but channeled into this very modern, acceptable pursuit of self-betterment, like a kind of secular quest for certainty.
Reassurance through optimization. I like that. Because the things we feel guilty about now, they've shifted, haven't they?
How do you mean?
Well, it's maybe less about, old school moral transgressions and more about failing to live up to this ideal, not being productive enough, not hitting those goals, not having the perfect work-life balance.
The guilt of unfulfilled potential.
Yes, and every motivational post, every hack feels like another rule, another commandment in this, like unspoken religion of self-improvement.
That's a great way to frame it. Each piece of content as a commandment and the whole self-help industry as this modern guide to living the right way. And think about the structures, too.
Like Sunday mornings.
Exactly. What used to be, for many a time, for church or religious observance, now it might be dedicated time for, a webinar on finding your purpose or journaling or planning the week with a new productivity app.
It's still structured time, still promises transformation, but the focus is inward, on the self, not the spiritual necessarily. Visualizing success instead of prayer, maybe. Seeking validation from followers, not faith.
And the language. That's another huge parallel. All the talk of awakening, enlightenment, manifesting, finding your truth.
It's almost identical to religious rhetoric sometimes.
It really is. And the step-by-step systems for happiness or success, they mirror paths to salvation you find in older traditions. The key difference, as you said, is it's about belief in the self, often helped along by these online gurus.
Okay, but here's where it gets, for me, really fascinating. What are we actually trying to avoid? What are we pushing down with all this focus on, optimizing everything? Could it be that all this striving, this constant need to improve, is actually a defense mechanism? A way to kind of sidestep deeper anxieties?
Yeah.
About, whether we're fundamentally okay. About the massive uncertainty of just being alive.
That feels very plausible. From a psychoanalytic viewpoint, you could see this constant consumption as a kind of, a negotiation.
A negotiation with what?
With those underlying fears, perhaps. The unconscious thought might be something like, if I just learn enough, if I apply the right strategies, if I optimize enough, Maybe then I'll escape these feelings of inadequacy. Maybe I'll escape judgment.
And it's delivered in such easily digestible ways, too, isn't it? Those, quote, graphics, the short videos, the memes, they're like modern proverbs.
Little nuggets of wisdom, and the people delivering them, the influencers, the gurus, they take on this almost preacher-like role, charismatic figures with the answers.
Plus the community aspect. You see it in the comment sections, the Facebook groups. People sharing their struggles, their wins. It's like a digital congregation.
It is. And notice the resistance to doubt within those communities.
Oh, so?
Well, just like in some religious contexts where questioning is seen as, a lack of faith.
Right.
In the self-help world, skepticism or doubt is often framed very negatively. It's negative self-talk, a limiting belief, something to be overcome. You're told not to question the process.
Yeah, so don't doubt the system.
Exactly. And that resistance to critical thinking, to doubt, it echoes Freud's idea of resistance in therapy, the mind actively working to avoid confronting uncomfortable truths or complexities.
Wow, okay. And the devices themselves,
Right.
our phones. It's almost like they've become these little portable confessionals, haven't they?
Go on.
We broadcast our struggles, feeling so overwhelmed today, procrastinating again, and then boom, instant responses, likes, comments like, you can do it. It's like digital absolution. Our minor sins of inefficiency are forgiven.
That's a really sharp observation. This cycle of digital confession and perceived absolution, it could definitely create a reliance on that external validation loop.
And it loops back to Sarah, right? The paradox you mentioned.
Yes, because while the whole point is supposed to be empowerment,
Right, taking control.
it can actually set up this subtle, maybe unintentional hierarchy. The gurus, the influencers, they're positioned almost like clergy. They hold the secrets, the keys to the kingdom of happiness or success.
And the followers.
The followers, no matter how much they achieve, can end up feeling like they're perpetually seeking. Always on the path, but never quite arriving. Always needing the next piece of advice, the next course.
It makes you wonder about the timing of all this. As traditional institutions, maybe like church or community groups, have become less central for some people.
A potential vacuum.
Yeah, maybe this whole motivational industry rushes in to fill that gap, offering clear directives, promising answers in a world that feels pretty ambiguous a lot of the time.
That seems likely. It provides structure, a sense of purpose, clear goals, but there's a potential pitfall there, isn't there?
It is.
The emphasis is so often on control, on mastery, on achieving the perfect outcome. Many older wisdom traditions often emphasize acceptance, resilience in the face of suffering, acknowledging uncertainty.
Whereas this is more like you can control everything if you just follow these steps.
Pretty much. Which might set people up for disappointment or even self-blame when life inevitably throws curveballs, when reality doesn't match the perfectly optimized vision.
That makes sense. And could this relentless focus on optimizing our lives, our routines, our habits, our productivity, could it also be a way to just distract ourselves?
Distract from what, do you think?
From the bigger stuff, the really deep existential questions, like what's the meaning of it all? Or confronting our own mortality. Is it easier to obsess over the perfect morning routine than to sit with those heavier thoughts?
That's certainly a perspective Freud might have offered. Psychological displacement. Fixating on the manageable, optimizing your calendar to avoid the unmanageable, the profound uncertainties of existence. Each new productivity hack becomes another layer of defense against that raw vulnerability of just being human.
And even how we consume it feels ritualistic sometimes. People have their specific spots on the sofa. Maybe they light a candle, put on ambient music. Yeah. Creating a little personal temple for this digital wisdom.
Absolutely. Creating a receptive atmosphere, almost like preparing for a sacred experience.
And the guilt we talked about earlier. The modern guilt of not living up to your potential. This content doesn't necessarily take that guilt away, does it? It almost channels it. It says, feeling guilty. Okay, here's the solution. Buy this course, follow this plan, and consume more. The redemption comes through more striving, more engagement.
Redemption through achievement. But it's conditional, isn't it? You have to keep going, keep consuming, keep optimizing. Yesterday's success is just today's baseline. There's always another level.
It feels like a cycle that, well, it might never actually end. You never quite arrive.
So thinking about all this, as we scroll through our feeds, engaging with this content almost habitually, maybe with a regularity once reserved for prayer or scripture, the big question kind of hangs there, doesn't it?
Which is?
Are we, maybe without realizing it, worshiping at a new kind of altar, an altar of achievement, of optimization, of the perfectible self?
An altar of achievement.
And if we are, What are we sacrificing in the process? What gets lost when the focus is so intensely on control, on performance, on constant self-monitoring?
That's definitely something to chew on.
Mm.
Is this whole pursuit really about growth? Or is it maybe more about managing anxiety, like you said? Are phones the new confessionals and likes the new absolution?
Mhm.
And does this quest for empowerment accidentally create these new gurus, this new clergy, keeping us always seeking? It really does feel like it's filling a void left by older systems, giving answers in uncertain times.
But maybe with this risky focus on total control over just acceptance of life's messiness.
Yeah. And maybe all the optimizing is a distraction from those deeper, trickier questions about meaning, about being mortal. Even the way we consume it feels ritualistic. And that modern guilt, feeling like you're not enough, seems to power the whole engine.
So yeah, the final thought to maybe leave with everyone listening is just that. Are we bowing down at this altar of achievement? And what parts of ourselves, what deeper human experiences might we be sacrificing along the way?
Definitely worth some reflection. A lot to think about there.